Okay, so I think Mitesh sir has already started with the basic fundamentals of DBMS. Am I right? Okay, so can anyone give me a reply in the chat box that what do you mean by DBMS? Just write down the answers in the chat box. What do you mean by DBMS?
Database management system, sir.
Write down the answer in chat box. Please don't speak. It will create some different disturbances. So it's possible. Then write down the answer in the chat box. Okay, database management system. It's a collection of data. I want a definition, not a full form. So can you write the complete full form, complete definition? It's a system to manage the database. Okay, good. Anything else? A software which is used to manage database is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs, collection of data and information, systematic collection of data, organization of data. Fine. So you're all talking about that it's a collection of data, it's a system to manage the data and all these things. So can you tell me what do you mean by data? Anyone? What do you mean by data? Can anyone write the answer that what do you mean by data? Raw facts. It's an information. Very good. Good answers. Collection of program. Data is nothing. Jai Shankar ji. Data is nothing. Fine. So I can say data is a meaningful information or data is a meaningful collection of raw facts. Right. So as you know, what is the DBMS? A DBMS is a software or a set of tools that is used to manage a data or database in an efficient way. So this is what a definition of DBMS states. A collection of data that is used by the application system for some enterprise and is a software for creating and managing the database, and it provides the systematic way to create, retrieve, update and manage the data. So whenever we talk about a term called manage, what do you mean by this manage term? What is management? What is manage or management? Arrangements, updates, logical uses, organized in a proper way. Yes, actually, exactly. Whenever we are talking about management in database, what actually we are looking forward is how we will be able to access those data in the database, how we will be able to modify those data in the database, how we will provide a security on that particular database. So that is what all comes under the management part in the database. Fine. So a database management system is a software or a tool that helps a user to either access, modify, or provide security to a particular database. Clear with the definition? Fine. So moving ahead. So there are many applications where databases are actually used in a backend or for a support to that particular application. Like you can see in the example, computerized library systems, automated teller systems, flight reservation systems, computerized inventory systems, ERPs, online banking systems. So there are lots and lots of applications or areas or fields where a database is mainly used as a support for an application. So now what is your task? You need to write down 5 applications that you think where a database can be a support, and you have to write down that applications in the chat box right now. So start writing. Each of you has to write minimum 5 applications using a comma where you think a database can be a backend support for an application, or where we can use database. So write down the applications. Each one of you has to write minimum 3 using comma that these are the applications where a database can be used. Okay, good. Hmm. I will be expecting the answers from each of you. So I'll wait till I'm getting all the answers. Hmm. Very good. Okay. I have got only few answers, about from 10 people only. What about other 37, those who are in the lecture right now? Hmm. Very good. Fine. Still I'm waiting for the answers. Banking, airlines, online classes, railways, airports, finance, banking, sales. Okay. Any other answers? Okay. University, hospital, banking, college industry, security, railways, COVID-19 record. Good answer. So in short, from your answers, what I can summarize is any application you pick up, right? Any web-based or software-based application you pick up, that application will have some database in the background to support that application, that particular application, right? So you can say that in general forms, a database is such an important component for an application that is used to run an application in a very smoother way, which can hold different types of data and that can be retrieved or accessed whenever and however required. So a database is a must more important component for any application. Remember this thing, and that is the only reason why we are studying this particular subject in a computer engineering, I would say computer engineering curriculum. Right. So moving on with the next, as you answered too much, fine. So now let us consider that we do not have a database systems. We do not have any database softwares. We don't have a database system. But what we have is a file systems. Now, what is a file system actually, students? File system can be anything. Either it can be a physical file, or it can be a some file that can be stored in the system, computer systems, but it does not have any databases. But we are going to talk about only physical systems or physical files. Now assume that as of you have completed your second semester, right? So maybe you have created different sub files or assignment files for your subjects. Am I right? You would have created different files for your subject, like assignment files or tutorial files or practical files. Have you created in your second semester such type of files or notes or class books, anything? Yes, of course you have to create, right? Because it was a part of your curriculum. Exactly. So now consider that I am storing each type of data in that particular files. Assume that, assume that I am storing each type of data in that particular file. Say if I'm opening a bank account in a particular bank, a bank is storing all my details of the account in that particular hard copy of files. Now suppose that I am storing such type of data in a hard files. What can be the problems that we can face? What can be the problem that we can face? Can anyone answer me? If I'm storing all types of data in a file or in a physical file or a hard copy file, what can be the problems? Yes, very good. Difficulties in searching, repetition. I'm saying Asaf that if I'm storing each type of data in a physical file, what type of problems we will face to maintain the data? Data management, data security, redundancy, may be destroyed. Very good answer. Security, searching at time of work. Very good. So, right. So, in short, the reason why we developed a database management system or we introduced databases is the only reason that there were too many drawbacks for maintaining all the records in a physical file. Right. So, let us see what were the difficulties or what were the disadvantages of maintaining such records in a physical file. So, the first particular drawback is data redundancy and inconsistency. Data redundancy and inconsistency. So here, data redundancy means a duplication of data. It is possible that the same data may be written more than one time or will have a same details of a person for a banking sector for more than one times in a different location in a single file. So a possibility of duplication of data was there. So that is why we were not, it was compulsory to introduce a database for removing this type of duplication problem in a file system. Second one is data inconsistency. Now, what do you mean by data inconsistency? Anyone? Can anyone give me a wild guess regarding what do you mean by data inconsistency? A wild guess is changing, okay. Same data at different places, okay. Then anything else? Not consistent, manipulating, okay. Fine. So whenever we are talking about data inconsistency, that means a data that we want to retrieve may not be in a correct form or maybe not in a correctly, when it won't be in a correct value. Let us take a simple example, banking sector right now. Let us say you opened an account, a joint account with your family in a bank. On a one day, you deposited 10,000 rupees in your account. Now, continuously in a few upcoming months, your family member visited that bank and withdrew some amount, but somehow the bank official were not able to manage your data in a proper way. Like the withdrawal details were not entered or managed properly, or credited details were not managed properly in the file. So on one day when you visit a particular bank and you ask to withdraw the amount, it is possible that it will not be the exact amount that you will be reflecting in a particular bank details. That means whatever transactions your family members has done between you visited the bank again may not have the complete records in your account details. So ultimately you will have an inconsistent data. That means whenever you are trying to retrieve the data, you may or may not get exact or correct data. So that is the main problem with data inconsistency, or we are not getting the consistent data. So at any moment, if I try to access my account, I should get a proper value of my account. So that is what consistent data means, right? So data inconsistency was the major drawback in a file system. Moving on, next is multiple file formats. Yeah, simply multiple file formats means what we can say is Let us say a bank XYZ is storing all your data using a particular format, like it will create one small table in a file or in a page, and it will store all your details. Someday or other bank is using a different format of storing your data or saving your details in the file. So there are multiple formats of storing the data, and that format differs from person to person. Maybe one person is trying to store a data in one particular way, second person is trying to store the data in a different way. So what problem actually it arises is that whenever we are trying to access, some other person is trying to access the same file, it is possible that he may not be able to understand the format. He may not be able to retrieve or read that particular data or details written in that particular file. So there are multiple formats used by different people for storing the data in a file. But what database does? Database has a very strict format of storing the data. So that was overcome by a DBMS system. Next, the next is duplication of information that we already discussed. Next is difficulty in accessing the data. Exactly. Now, where difficulty comes in accessing the data? Any idea? Any guesses? What type of difficulties we can face while accessing the data? I think I already discussed that point a few minutes back. Can anyone tell me what type of difficulties we can face? Yes, it is not well organized, not able to search from. We are not talking about server right now. We are talking about a physical file. So we are not discussing about server right now. Fine. So exactly. Now let us say a bank is trying to keep the details of all the accounts in one single file. Assume that there is one single file, and in that a bank is storing all the account details and all the transaction details of each account in a alphabetical order or any randomized order, let us say. Now let us say I would take any name from here. Let us say Sonu Yadav has created or opened an account in XYZ bank. Right. So a bank has taken all its details, written it on a file or a page, and stored it in the file somewhere between. Now, whenever Sonu comes to the bank and tries to access that particular account, then what will the bank person will do? Bank person will have to surf through all the pages or all the files or all the bundles actually to find the Sonu's detail. And then it has to search all the transaction details of Sonu so that he can get the last transaction detail or last final amount after all the transaction that Sonu has made. So ultimately what happens is, it is possible that person has to scroll down or move through all the pages or all the files in a one single file to find out a single person's file. Ultimately, it will be a difficult to access the data sometimes, and it is a very time consuming process. And a person who is visiting a bank will not have too much time for that particular reason to just to access his account. So that is why it is saying that it's a difficulty in accessing the data, or ultimately we can say it is a time consuming process. Fine. Is this clear? How it is difficult in accessing the data when we are storing all those data in a single file for different accounts or for different people in one single file? Okay, sure, Arman. I will go slow. Thank you very much. Right. So is this clear till now, everyone? Arman? Is there any doubt till here in these three topics? Any doubt? So I can repeat if you wish. And thank you, Arman, for stopping and posing my speed. Thank you very much. Fine. So let us see what is the next drawback of file system. The next is file exhibits different or structural dependencies. Now, actually, what this point actually want to say that each and every file will have different formats, right? It depends on a person that how he or she wants to store a data. So this particular file system or file will have a different structural dependencies, and whenever you want to write a new task, you have to take a new page and enter all the details of the transactions. Let us say, for an example, again, Sonu visits a bank and he or she or person is trying to withdraw some amount. So, what a bank official will do, he will take one more page, write down the account details, write down his name, and then he will write down all his transaction details and then store it in the Sonu's file. So ultimately, for each and every transaction a Sonu makes, a person of the bank has to write or create a new entry in the file systems or in a file. So that is again a time consuming, because it is possible that that page may be fitted to some other files, or sometimes it is possible that it may be difficult to access whenever Sonu visits again. So all those problems have been identified in this particular file systems. The next is data isolation. Yes. Can anyone tell me without seeing to Google what do you mean by data isolation? Any rough idea about what is data isolation? Don't use Google. Don't use Google, students. Is there any wild guesses about what do you mean by data isolation? Data security? No, outside of data. Okay. I'll say, if I am asking, what do you mean by data isolation? Any rough guesses? Don't use Google right now. Fine. Return and refresh data. Set up the data in different ways. Okay. So fine, let me discuss this. So data isolation mainly focuses on separation of data. Now, what is separation of data? Let us say that, okay, I've got some answers, so let me just read out those answers. Data is in different format. Okay. Then I have got some more answers. So to retrieve it, we have to write a new program. Isolate data. Data को सेव करके रखना in hard drive. Okay. Data which exists out of file system, store in a single way. Fine, right. So let us now discuss what actually it is. Data isolation means separation of data. Now, what is separation of data? Let us take a simple example for this. Let us say I am taking again a banking program or banking sector. A person visits a bank, opens an account, and goes back. He deposits initially 5,000 rupees in the account. Right. After 1 week, he comes again and credits more 2,000 rupees in the account and goes back. Similarly, for next few months, that person visits the bank and performs certain type of transactions, like crediting the amount or withdrawing the amount, again crediting, again withdrawing. Likewise, he is performing different sets of transactions. Now, what does data isolation comes here? Data isolation means that each type of transaction must be separated and stored in a proper way. That means if I am withdrawing the amount, all the withdrawal transactions must be in the same space. If I am crediting the amount, all the credit transactions must be in the same space. So we have to separate the data based on the transactions. Or it may be possible that, let us say, Ashish Kumar entered a bank and opened an account. Next day, some other person named Ashish Kumar entered the bank, but that particular man was having an account before 2 months. So he credited some amount in a particular his account. So it is possible that a bank officials may get confused with the name and enter the details in a wrong way. It is possible that the other Ashish Kumars credit transaction will be added to the Ashish Kumar's who has just opened an account. So in such a way that we need to separate each type of data so that there is no duplication. Also, the access or retrieving of data is quite easy and simple. So that is what data isolation means. Data isolation means separating each type of data depending on its need. Clear with this? What is data isolation? Any doubt so far? Okay, so let us continue. So Rohini and Rajesh, is it clear or you are saying no doubts? Okay, fine. So let us move ahead with the next point. What it is, let us see. The next is integrity problem. Now, what is integrity problem? Let us take and again a simple example of banking sector. I hope everyone has a bank account, right? Everyone has a bank account. Okay, let me repeat data isolation. Fine, Arman, I will repeat it again. Data isolation means separating a data. Separating a data means whenever you are trying to execute different types of transactions on a database, right? We need to separate each type of transactions depending on its components. Now, components can be many things. If it is a banking sector, it can be account details, account name, and many things. If it is an airline reservation system, then it can be a booking ID, then booking number, amount. So remember that we need to store each and every type of data in a separate form or in a separate page or in a separate row. Clear? So we have to separate each type of transactions in a system. For whatever system we talk, we have to separate each type of data. Now is this clear, Arman and Sonu? Now is this clear? Yes, exactly. Each and every separate form. Exactly. How to do it? Yes, for that we will be seeing it in a practical session. Whenever you have a practical session, that Mitesh sir will tell you how we are storing each type of data in a separate way. So right now I'm not discussing that thing right now. Fine. So shall I move ahead with the next topic? Okay. So the next topic was the next drawback was integrity problem. So integrity problem is something like a rule or a check that is imposed on a data. Now let us say, taking an example of banking sector. I hope everyone has bank account or most of you will be having the bank account, right? Now, before 5 years, there was a rule by a bank that each and every account should have minimum 500 rupees at any point. Either you withdraw some amount or you credit some amount. At the end, the account should be having minimum 500 rupees. If it goes below 500 rupees, you will not be able to do any type of transactions. Right? This was the rule imposed by a bank before 5 years. Right. Now, here, that rule, I am saying that there should be minimum 500 rupees. That rule is known as integrity. That rule is known as integrity. So, what here we are saying that integrity problem was there. Now, let us say we are again having the banking sector. We are talking about a file systems before 20 or 25 years, and bank has imposed this rule that minimum amount in an account should be 500 in any case. So that was the rule imposed by a bank. Now let us take a simple example. Shravan Kumar opens the account with minimum deposit of 1000 rupees. After 5 days, he comes to the bank and withdraws 200 rupees. So ultimately, bank person will enter all the details of withdrawal, and he will see that after 1200 has been withdrawn, 800 is the remaining amount. So that's fine because it is not violating our rule. Now, after few days, he comes back and credits about 500 rupees. I will just take to it. Don't worry. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Now, after a few days, he comes back and adds 500 rupees to its account. So again, bank person will write all its details and credit the amount. So 800 plus 500 is 1300. Next, continuously like this, he continues to write down, he continuously visits the bank and does all types of transactions. But what happens in between that, a bank person misplaces one of his transaction details. A bank person misses or misplaces one of the transaction details. So now what happens that after some particular day, when a, when Shravan Kumar visits the bank, he knew that my account is having about 2000 rupees and he is allowed to withdraw 1500 rupees, keeping minimum rupees 500 in the bank. That is following the rule of the bank. But because a bank person has misplaced that one of the transaction, actually the bank shows only 2000 rupees. And Shravan Kumar wants to withdraw 1500 rupees, right? So it is having only 2000 rupees and Shravan Kumar wants to withdraw about say 1800 rupees. So ultimately the balance of the bank would reflect 200, right? Because he was knowing that he had a rupees in his account and he is allowed to transact, but due to the mistake of the bank person, it was not reflected properly in the account. He is not able to withdraw that amount. So here the integrity problem states that whenever such type of problem occurs, it may be possible that the transaction would be not allowed for a particular person. So that is why integrity problems would arise. Clear? Now this is how it is related with the integrity problem. That the rule must be followed, but if there is an error by the system or by the person, that rule may get violated. That is why integrity problem is there. Now is this clear? So bank has to do something, such system that it maintains all the records of a person in a proper. So that is why only data integrity problem was introduced, and that was solved in a DBMS system. Still any doubt in this? You can raise. Okay, I got some chats. Let me see. Please repeat again. Okay. Simple. A bank is having a rule that 500 rupees should be the minimum, right? Now, after few transactions, I knew that amount is greater than 500 and I'm able to withdraw some amount. But due to some mistake made by the bank or misplacement of the record of my account details in the bank, I was not allowed to perform my transaction on my account that I wanted to withdraw some amount. So that is why integrity problem was there, that it was the details of the account or the details of the transactions were not recorded in a proper way or were not secured in a proper way. Yes, Sonu, anything down? Anything else? Just take yourself as an example that you are going to a bank, you open an account, you made some transactions, you know that your account is having 2000 rupees and you will be allowed to withdraw 1500 rupees keeping the rule, right? But what actually the bank system has done is it has misplaced one of your transaction and the bank reflects only 1500 rupees in your account. 500 rupees is not displayed in your account. So whenever you want to withdraw 1500 rupees, though you know that you have 2000 rupees in your account, you are not allowed to withdraw that amount because bank system says that you have only 1500 rupees. So bank is keeping its rule as an uphold and you are not allowed to transact or you're not allowed to withdraw an amount. Now, is this clear? Yes, Sonu. Okay. Sonu Kumar, fine. Is there any doubt still? So I can repeat again. I don't mind. Okay, so moving on to the next is hard to add new constraints or change existing ones. That means if I am using the old file systems, it would be very difficult to impose any new rule on my account without being informing to a customer or the bank officials. That means you cannot add the new rules directly on a particular system without informing or consulting the other customers or the bank account holders. The next is atomicity of updates. Now, atomicity here means that either your transaction will be full or your transaction will be null, that's zero. That means if you are withdrawing an amount, either an amount will be withdrawn successfully or an amount will not be withdrawn at all. That means it won't be in between somewhere. That amount withdraw started, it has deducted from your account, but it was not withdrawn to you. It was not given physical to you. So it is not possible in that way. Either amount will be withdrawn and given to you physically successfully, or it won't be withdrawn at all due to some problems or errors. That is what atomicity states here. Second is failures may leave database in an inconsistent state with partial updates carried out. So what type of failures we can face in a database? Can anyone say me? In a database, sorry, not in database, but in file system. What type of failures we can face? What type of failures we can face in a files? Or what type of security hazards we can face? What type of security hazards we can face in an file system? Corrupt the data, okay. Anything else? So let us say, taking a simple example, let us say your complete file has been misplaced or has been lost by a bank personnel. So ultimately your complete data is lost. So ultimately whatever transactions you are making, that won't be recorded to your files. So ultimately it is a failure to your database, to your data. Ultimately is the failure of your data. So that is what failure, yes, loss of data, exactly. Once a data has been lost, ultimately your file has been lost and ultimately you won't be able to perform any transactions, right? So moving on with the next. The next is concurrent access by multiple users. So let us take simple example. Let us take two names from here, Jay Shankar and Arman. Okay, both of you. So what happens that there is a bank called ABC, right? and that bank is having different branches in at different location in a single city, right? Now, Arman and Jai Shankar, sorry, Arman and Jai Shankar visited. Yes, Jai Shankar, want to speak something? Jai Shankar, can you mute yourself? I'm just taking your example, nothing else. Okay. So Arman and Jai Shankar on a one day visited ABC A branch to open a joint account. Right. So they opened a joint account and deposited initially 5,000 rupees in a bank. Right. Now that bank allows cross banking system. Now what is cross banking system? That you can transact on your account from any branch across the city. You can transact on, on your account across any branches in your city. So what on one day Arman visits A branch and Jai Shankar on the same day visits C branch. Let us say for an example, Arman wants to withdraw some amount from 5,000 and Jai Shankar wants to credit some amount in that particular account using the other branch. So there are two users parallelly want to access the same account in the different branches. So that is what we can say is concurrent access. So that is the meaning of concurrent access. Right. Now what happens? A branch, Arman has come to withdraw the amount. So Arman is trying to withdraw the amount. So let us say amount is trying to withdraw 2,000 rupees from 5,000. At the same time, Jai Shankar is trying to credit 4,000 rupees in the account. So what A branch person will do? It will first allow Arman to withdraw amount. So 5,000 minus 2,000. So remaining is 3,000. Now, once the account has been updated with the details, it will inform that C branch or all the branches regarding this type of transaction in this particular account. But at the same time, Jai Shankar was crediting the amount in the same account. So what that C branch person will do, it will inform that there is a transaction of credit in this particular account to all the branches in the city. So simultaneously, there were two operations being done on a single account. So ultimately, what will happen? It is possible that when Jai Shankar credited the amount wouldn't have been reflected as a change from the Arman's transaction. That means 3,000 was not reflected in C branch details. And when Arman withdraw that amount, it was not reflected from C branch details to A branch details. That means credit was not reflected in A branch the account details. So ultimately, there would be some problem in accessing the data or managing the final amount of the account. Let us say 3,000 was there, addition of 3,000 plus 4,000, it is 7,000. But actually, it is possible that both the persons at different branches would different amounts in their accounts at same time. So this is what concurrent access problem was there, that two persons cannot simultaneously access the same account at the same time or transact on the same account at the same time. So that is what a transaction or concurrent access problem states. Clear? Simply remember that two persons at the same time want to do different types of transactions on a same component. Yes, after some time the information may be updated, but at the same time you won't have the exact or correct information or accurate information or consistent information. It would be an inconsistent form. It would be in somewhat inconsistent form. Yes, it will be updated once both the persons from different branches inform vice versa to each of the branches about the same thing. But it will take some time when the person informs about the transactions to each other branches. Yes, like enterprise. Yeah, maybe possible like enterprise. Yes. Any other questions in this topic? Is this clear? Okay. So moving to the next point. The next is security problem. Yes, we already discussed the security hazards like loss of data. Let us say a person misses your complete file, or some other unauthorized person gets your account details. So likewise, there were security issues in your uh, hard file or physical file systems. So these are all the disadvantages or drawbacks of file processing system, or in short we can say FPS. So now based on these disadvantages like security problem, concurrent access, failures, atomicity, integrity problem, data isolation, data redundancy and inconsistency, multiple file formats, difficulty in accessing data. So likewise, we have so many disadvantages of file processing system. So on basis of this, can you give me what can be the advantages of DBMS? What can be the advantages of DBMS? Can can you write the answers using comma? All the advantages of DBMS. Yes, so please write down the answers. I will give you 2 to 3 minutes to writing the answers, no issues. Okay, easy and efficient, management and generalization, easy to find any data, that is easy access, very good. Waiting for some other answers, some good answers again. Retrieve and access of data, manage of data, no redundancy, data consistency, very good. Proper access to data, proper arrangement of data, easy to understand, all difficulties, security, better decision making, sharing and storage of data. Very good answer, students. Very good. Really very good. See, Harshit, uh, database doesn't mean centralized data. It can be anything. If I am using an Excel, that you know, Microsoft Excel, it is not a centralized data. It's a local machine that I can use to store a particular data, machine tool, right? So it is not always a centralized. It can be anything. If it's a if I'm using a text file to write down some data and storing it in a hard drive, again it is a data or database. So it's never a centralized. Remember this word. This can be useful whenever you are studying such type of advanced database subjects in future. I'm not getting it can tally or not. What you are asking actually? I'm not getting that question actually. Yes, Alsef, what you are asking? It can tally or not, sir? Can you just clear that question? Okay. So based on your answers, let us see what are the okay, finding any data. Okay, fine. Yes, it can be easy to find any data. Very good. Okay. So based on your answers, let us see what are the advantages of DBMS. So the advantages of DBMS are data can be shared. So we can share our data very easily to others. Redundancy can be reduced. We can reduce the duplication of data. Inconsistency can be avoided. Yes, we can manage our data in such a way that the data will be in a consistent state at any point of time. Integrity can be maintained. Yes, we can maintain all types of rules using a database. Security can be enforced. Yes, we can allow only authorized users to access our data or database. Better conflicting management. In short, conflicting management means concurrent usage. When two users want to access a same particular component of database and want to transact two different transactions. So better conflicting management and standards can be enforced. Now, what is standards here? See, the database was mainly introduced by Oracle, ORACLE. Maybe A-based students would have learned about Oracle in their lab sessions yesterday. So Oracle is a standard, has provided a particular standard of storing a data. That standard is used by each and every database providing softwares to store the data. So there is a standard being defined for storing the data. So these are the main advantages of database management system. Data can be shared, redundancy can be reduced, inconsistency can be avoided, integrity can be maintained, security can be enforced, concurrent access can be managed, and a proper standard of database can be maintained. So moving on next. The next is ANSYS Spark 3-level architecture. So for any particular database management system, there is a particular model or an architecture. That architecture represents in what particular way our data is being stored in the database directory or database dictionary, whatever you can say, right? So, an ANSYS Spark, this is an international standard that derived or defined an architecture of a database model for storing the database. And this model is being used by each and every database providing software. Let us see what does this architecture says. That architecture contains three levels: external level, conceptual level, and internal level. Now, don't read all these things. I will define these three levels in a very short way. External level means what type of data you want to store in a database. Clear? What type of data you want to store in a database. Let us say I want to store all the details of banking sector, like account details, like customer details, like loan details, etc. So I want to store this type of data. So that type of data will come under external level. Then comes conceptual level. Now, conceptual level mainly deals with database structure. Now, what is database structure? Let us say, for an example, I am storing an account details. So, what all details I will store? Like account number, then account holder name, account primary amount, and let us say account address. The four fields I am going to store. So for that external level data of account, I am creating different fields like account number, name, amount, and address. So that fields are created here in conceptual level. So this level states that how we will be able to store our data, in how we are going to store our data. That is what this conceptual level states. Here, external level provides us the data. That data will be stored in particular manner, and that particular manner is defined by a conceptual level. And internal level is a place where your actually the data will be stored using this conceptual level. So in short, we can say internal level is where the data is stored. Conceptual level is how the data is going to get stored, and external level is what type of data is going to get stored. So this is what external level, conceptual level, and internal level wants to say. Is this clear, everyone? Remember what type of data, how to store data, and where to store data. That is what this architecture says. Is this clear? So let us see the architecture now, how the architecture looks actually. So this is what your architecture is. The top three are the different users, those who want to provide different types of data to store. Then those data are being given to a conceptual level. This level will decide how each type of data will be stored, in what different fields each type of data will be stored. And then once it is decided, it will provide the complete data to the internal level, that is actually our database, to store the data, right? So you can see here what type of data. So these are the data I want to store, how the data is stored. So it is taking some type of fields and its data types, and where data is stored. So it is stored in a database in byte form or some other forms. So this is how ANSI Spark model works, and ask other database software providers to work actually to provide an efficient database tool for working on it. Clear with this? Any doubt in this architecture? Any doubt in this architecture from anyone? Fine. Again, still I will ask Mitesh sir to revise this topic one more time so that it would be quite clear with you all. So I will ask Mitesh sir once more. Right. So I think that's it for today, because